Welcome. Thanks for joining me tonight. We're going to get a validation healing in the sanctuary tonight. And before I start the validation healing, I just want to say how important validation is, and that you want to be in the habit of validating yourself. Because what happens is when we wait for somebody else to validate us, like in a relationship, whether it's a friend or a romantic partner, if we wait for them to validate us, we become controllable. And so in order to become not controlled, you want to be able to validate yourself and be able to take care of that need for yourself. So tonight, what I'm going to do is clean out 3 spaces, and then we're going to run validation through those spaces. And the first space is validating your creative space, all of your creations and your creative process. And then the second space is we're going to do a validation on your self-worth. And the third space I almost didn't do because there was so much energy on it. I almost changed my mind, but we're going to run validation through your money space. So there was a lot of energy in that. And I'll go ahead and clean that space out and then run validation through it. And for those of you that are new to the sanctuary, how this works is I look at a composite of everybody who is in the sanctuary. And based off of that composite of energy, I'm able to look at something called matching pictures, which allows me to clear pain and energy from everybody in the sanctuary at once. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and set the energy with a prayer and then get started. As we cleanse and heal the temple of the soul, may it be with the blessing of divinity that it shine its countenance upon us and bring us peace in body, mind, and spirit. Amen. Okay, let us see what's cooking in our creative space. And the first part of this is I'm actually going to be cleaning out the creative space from, how can I say this? Things that are affected by the lack of validation in there. So the first energy that gets between you and your ability to validate your creations is competition. And a lot of that competition is from family and friends. It's a lumpy white energy that I'm going to clear. And something I notice as I'm working on this is that that competition gets in a lot of your spaces and actually even prevents you from doing some creations. So there's a real stop energy to it. It's coming out though. Then there's a lot of brown coming out, and this will get addressed, this brown energy that says, I'm not good enough in the creative space, or like my creations aren't good enough. We're going to do the healing on that in the second part when we get to the self-worth. So it's going to get 2 healings. I'm going to address it in this section on the creative, in the creative space first. So this not good enough energy is a cinnamon brown that's coming out of your creative space. I just saw where some of the energy in your creative space goes back to when you're in your terrible twos, when you are told no all the time. I was tracing it back. And so the age that we get told no a lot, for some of you, that has affected your creative space in this sense that you're super sensitive to parents' wishes and expectations for you. There's a lot of energy coming out of wanting to please other people. I think that's because everybody in the sanctuary is a healer, so there's a lot of that energy. But yeah, I'm gonna keep working on showing you where that is. Good. This is starting to come out. It's a thick, very dark brown, almost black energy coming out. Okay, now I'm going to switch a little and go from your creations to your creative energy and look at what gets between you and your ability to validate your creative energy. Interestingly, partners comes up as one of the first energies. And that partners is still a form of competition. So I'm still working competition out. Good. Okay. Now the creative energy is grounding. A lot of energy is coming out. Some pinks, hot reds, white. And there's just so very, very, very many people in your creative energy. So I'm also trying to weed people out of the energy itself. People love your creative energy. It's great energy. So a lot of people are interested in it. Okay, a lot of the heaviness has come out of the creative energy. I'm just working on a little bit of white and gray. And you know what's going on is, as I'm doing this, your creative energy is just flourishing. So the more energy I get out of that space that gets between you and your validation, the energy is just starting to bubble up and really flow right now. Okay, creative energy got a good healing. Now I'm going to do one other thing in this space, and that's clear energy between you and your actual creations that prevents you from validating yourself. So you know where this would show up? This is what shows up in what I call the fourth quadrant of your creative process, your receiving quadrant. Like when you're receiving, can you validate yourself for the mock-up that you just brought in? And this is where I'm working, is where you can't, but it's all part of your creative process. So it looks to me like everybody has a number of invalidation pictures, and they show up as black dots. I'm going to start showing you where those are so that you can clear them. Well, one thing I do see in here is that you'll acknowledge your creations as they come in, but it's almost like, okay, and then on to the next one. It's not like, hey, wow, you did a really great job. That's an amazing mock-up that just came in. It's just very subtle. Okay, I got that. Now I'm on to the next thing. So that's not really validation. That's more of like an acknowledgement. There's a really beautiful, smooth orange gold coming into the space of your creations now. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to ground a rose for validation so that I get like a nice, clean, universal validation vibration. And I'm going to start running that through those, through the creative space. Excuse me, I'm losing track here. The validation energy is really pretty. It looks to me like kind of like liquid opals. It's very sparkly. And there's sort of a weight to it. I don't know how else to explain it, but there's a nice weight to it, like it's solid. And that energy is cleaning out the creative space. Oh, this is a nice benefit. It's kicking out little beings. And that's because when you raise the vibration of your space, oftentimes you will kick beings out because they can only vibrate at a lower vibration. If they could vibrate where you would normally vibrate, then they'd go out and get a body themselves, but they can't because they vibrate lower. So if you validate yourself, it raises your body energy and it starts making it an incompatible environment for other beings. And I just saw a whole bunch of little beings flying off. So that was good. Okay. I'm filling in the creative space with a gold sun. And next we're going to move on to validation in your self-worth space. So we're going to be clearing the energies between you and your ability to validate your self-worth first. So many of us, our self-worth goes back to an inadequacy picture in childhood. That's a pretty good summary of what is at the core of most people's self-worth space. Where I'm working right now is between the ages of 2 and 4 years old. And then this seems like a broad category, but people who control you, as I was saying earlier, if you're looking outside yourself for validation, you can become very controllable. And I'm really seeing that in the self-worth space. There's a gray-white coming out. There's also a lot of comparing oneself to others going on in the self-worth space. And now I'm getting down to what looks like a hardened shell. It kind of looks like the outside skin of an avocado, like one of those black, really rough avocados. That's what the energy layer looks like. And this particular layer is a lot of negative self-talk. So this layer has to do with you and how you talk to yourself. Just trying to get a little bit of black out of there. Okay, that looks so much better. And I didn't tell you what it looked like ahead of time. I can tell you what it looks like now. It's like a light yellow gold, and the space is cleared. I'm going to run some validation through it now. The gold and the validation color, which is like the liquid opals, together is a really beautiful combination. And so that's what your self-worth space looks like now. That's great. Okay. The last space that I'm going to look at is validation for your money space. All right. So, of course, the first part, is going to be cleaning out a lot of invalidation. And what I notice as I go into this space is that there's so much pain for some of you in this space that it's hard to even look at your money or even think about validating it. So the first thing I'm going to do is just clear pain out of your money space. And I noticed that when there are problems in the money space, if there was any validation happening, it's gone when there are problems. So you completely forget to validate your money space if something negative is going on in there. And let's see if we can clear this out. The biggest invalidation that sits in the money space across the board is the invalidation of not enough money. That's like everybody's picture is, I don't have enough money. I'm going to help you decharge that picture so that you can blow it, get it out of there, and then bring in some validation into that space. But that's the number one picture. Like if we were on Jeopardy, that would be my number one pick. Yay, now the invalidation is coming out. I know that's weird to be excited about it, but it's great because it's coming out. Now, don't forget, tomorrow, after this healing, it's quite possible that you might feel a little invalidated about your money space. And that's because we're doing a healing tonight, and tomorrow the invalidation is going to be coming out. So you know what you do then? You put your grounding cord on and you start releasing so that all of that growth period can just start to ground out of you. And there's some nasty beings in this money space that I'm going to erase. One of the most simple ways that you can heal your money space on your own is to just create and destroy roses for your money space, and like clear invalidation. Just create and destroy roses to get the invalidation out, or create and destroy roses to destroy energy out. That's what those beings that I'm taking out right now vibrate at. Okay, beings are out, and that opened up another layer of energy coming out that's like thick, lumpy pearl gray. And this is the energy of things that are supposedly wrong with your money space, but that's just a judgment. So all of that's coming out. It's going to feel a lot better tomorrow to not have that in your money space. And one thing that I'm seeing that you guys are seeing now as the healing is going on is that the junk and the invalidation took up so much space in your money space that now you have a lot of new room to create in. So you could be doing money mock-ups or any kind of mock-up that you want. There's a lot more room in there now that all that invalidation is gone. I'm just getting the tail ends of it out. There was a black cord going into the third chakra. It looks like from the government in the money space. Okay. This space is pretty open now. I'm going to run some validation through it. So when the validation starts to get run through your money space, the first thing I notice is that it starts validating all the little things in your money space that you might just dismiss or neglect, forget to validate yourself for. So it's kind of starting with the little things first, working its way up to the big things. It also increases how much fun you can have with money. It just lightens the load. So running validation in your money space is a very positive thing. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and bring in a great big gold sun. And now I'm going to run some validation to your body before I close out. Your body likes having validation run through it. It's like it gives it a hello. Okay. That brought your body up to a really rich yellow gold. So I'm going to close out the healing there. And may it be with the blessing of divinity that this healing on validation tonight in the sanctuary be complete. Amen. Okay, I have an exercise that I wanted to tell you about because it's great for validation. And it's something that I used to teach in my creative genius courses. So it takes a little bit of setup, but once it's set up, it can work for you for about, probably 6 weeks. So here's what the exercise is. You're going to write out a page of things about yourself that you would like to tell yourself, to talk yourself up. You're going to start it out by saying, I love myself, I love myself, I love myself. And then start to say, I get up in the morning excited and invigorated to go to work every day. I love my workouts, and just go on throughout your day explaining all the things that you do, would like to be doing, and interspersing I love myself in it. So here's what happens. You do this, you're going to take your phone. A second here. You're going to take your phone and you're going to record yourself. So you're going to read this page that you wrote out, and you're going to record yourself saying it. Then every night, as you're going to sleep, you're going to play it on your recorder. Put it right by your bed, play it on your recorder. And here's what happens. After about 2 weeks, you start talking to yourself that way. So this is one of the greatest ways for you to program yourself. If you have trouble with negative self-talk, this is the way to do it. And it's pretty simple. It just, like I said, it just takes a little setup, but you use your own phone. And I did mine, and it was about 2 or 3 minutes. So what I did was I got a free recording app and I looped it. So I looped it for about 15 or 20 minutes so that at night I turn it on and just listen to it until I go to sleep. So that's a great exercise for validation. All right. We have one more. Do we have one more thing, or is this is it? Nope. I'm in the wrong month. Sorry. Okay. So yeah, this is it for October. And then our flyer for November is coming out a little late. My fault, but it's going to be coming out. And the first thing that we have coming up is a Female Fridays, and it's called The Unappreciated Healer in You. So we're going to do a nice 30-minute meditation on the healer in you. So I'm looking forward to that. And I'll let you see your mailer for everything else that's coming up, and I will talk to you on Friday. Thanks for making the meditation tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. Got my eyes on you. Have a lovely evening, and I'll see you Friday. Okay, bye-bye.